Boom, baby, we're live. Welcome to Tokyo Crypto Show Season 2. Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, rumored to be coming out in full display this March 7th, Friday, at the first ever Crypto White House Summit. We finally have the President of the United States backing crypto. We have a bunch of huge, high-profile crypto people showing up at this summit. And we do not think this is going to be a nothing burger. There is a lot to go on, and we're going to be breaking down everything. I think we're going to be talking about tariffs, talk about the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. China is already FOMOing. Vietnam is scrambling to get some legislation going with cryptocurrency and so much more. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much, John. Good to be here.
Hello.
All right. I'm joined by James, Bitcoin, BTC, Louis Raskins, trader, and Alex, our designated charts man. We've had some good price action. Sentiment has definitely changed based upon President Trump tweeting out on Truth Social this past Sunday, where the bags were pumped by Donald Pump himself. And he was mentioning not only about the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, but a crypto strategic reserve in which he mentioned Solana, XRP, and ADA Cardano. This had some gigantic God candles pump immediately, showing that crypto is still alive and well. And the president is a powerful man. He got that thing rocking and rolling. If you don't believe me, take a look right here, because he did follow up with a follow-up as well. This is what happened. He said, a U.S. crypto reserve will elevate the critical industry after years of corrupt attacks by the Biden administration, which is why my executive order on digital assets directed the presidential working group to work forward on crypto strategic reserve. That includes XRP. This is Ripple, Solana, and ADA, which is Cardano. I'll make sure the U.S. is the crypto capital of the world. We are making America great again. And then obviously followed up there saying, obviously, Bitcoin and Ethereum as other valuable cryptocurrencies will be at the heart of the reserve. I love Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? So really, what's going on?
Shut up and take my money.
Oh, okay, hold on. StreamYard's being weird. There we go. Anyways, what do you guys think about that news initially there?
It was sort of what everyone was waiting for to signal the end of that weekly cycle that we've been talking about. Like we got Fear and Greed down to 10, which is great. Love to see that. We went all the way from 85 in like a couple of months, all the way down 10. Nice reset. Big volume kicked in. We'll talk about in a second what happened the following day upon the fateful Sunday tweet. But this was kind of like what we were expecting. We're waiting. Everyone gets really, really sad, super sad. And then all of a sudden, whoop, off we go. So we've got that new level in, 78,000 and some change. So that should be our low. We should now just go up. We should hold that. We should.
Yeah, definitely. Let's just jump right into it with you. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put you at the helm here. You go ahead, take over, show us what's going on in the charts. And Lewis will be following up after that. And then we're going to be talking about today's topic and more.
So top down, here was the chart from last week. This was basically, we had high confidence that the 60-day cycle and the weekly cycle was coming to an end. And we did get that. So last week was the week of the 24th. That's why it's 24th of Feb. So that would mean that we're in a new cycle. So like I said, we've got 78,179 that was on Bitstamp as the sort of the final low. So now we should hold above that. We should be in a new weekly cycle. It should keep going. We should not test 78. We shouldn't lose it and close below it for the remainder of the bull run. So that's a really great level, line in the sand that we can put in. So I say medium high because I'm far more convicted towards it being the case that we've started the next 60-day cycle and weekly cycle. But I'm certainly not going to say that I know for 100%. Otherwise, I would have taken a 200x fucking leverage long. So for all intents and purposes, the timing is telling us that we're off new weekly cycle, new 60-day cycle. We should, 60 days from now be somewhere in April, May. We should be somewhere in July for the next weekly cycle. High still on track for November. We shall see as the year progresses how long this weekly cycle is, because what I will do in a moment is just talk a bit more about that on the Bitcoin chart itself. But just going through you, we've got the crypto ball March 7th. So we're expecting good news, but until that certainty is delivered, is exactly what's going to happen. The non-insiders, which would be institutions that are not in that inner circle, that would be the public, like us, that's when people have a lot more certainty. And so anyone who's sort of sitting on the sidelines can sort of wait for a good news pump to bring us up into a territory that says, okay, now we're up and off. And then you're kind of getting in when the trend is up, which is generally a really good way to go about it, because you're just trading with the trend. The trend is your friend. So 29 weeks would get us into late July. So that's about 3 60-day cycles. But given that 60-day cycles are not always 60 days, and as I'll show you, weekly cycles are not always 29 weeks, this can fluctuate. Hence why we have sort of ranges, or like the entirety of July. So let's bring up the chart now, and I'll show you something really, really cool. So bang. Okay. So this is the weekly chart for Bitcoin. We can see how last week I said the weekly chart is down, but the candle, we sort of can't count that as existing until it closes. So I'm just going to take a sip for a bit of that to build the tension.
I think your microphone got disconnected, buddy.
How are we now?
Perfect.
Nice. So last week, it was all about what's this candle going to do? It was looking terrible. We were all the way down here at $80,000. We were expecting it to look terrible, so that was fine. But in the last 6 hours of trading, 7 hours of trade, 8 hours, the thing just fucking flew up. And we ended up creating the largest price candle that Bitcoin has ever done. And that was off the back of the week looks like it's fucked, looking terrible. But then it flew up. So that's why you can't count the weekly charts like bars until the week itself has finished and the new one has started. So this was really good. We wanted to see this. We pumped up, and then we straight away dumped down on the daily. We just went whoop and then whoop. However, we did make a higher bottom. So now we're looking, we want to keep making a higher high. We want to start shifting our way up now. New weekly cycle. That's what we should be expecting. Now, I'm going to turn on all of my annotations, and it might give you a seizure, but there is a method to my madness. So welcome to the weekly chart. I know.
You're such a Pisces.
Yeah. Oh, man, Scorpio. So I've just been plotting out weekly cycles and how they go. So we can see how generally they're about this 29, 31, 29, 29. We've been getting a lot of 29s, but they can easily be as low as 19 and as high as 31, 34. So this is sort of like a major low to a major low to a major low to a major low to a major low, right? And we want to see, just like a 60-day cycle where we want to see the price peak past day 45, we want to see the price peak past the midway point in whatever the weekly cycle is. So 20 is obviously greater than 15.5. So that's nice. However, it kind of peaks a bit earlier, and then it fails and comes down and blah, 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 blah. So this last one, 29 weeks, and then we got another 29 weeks. So if you were literally like, oh, I think it's going to be 29 because the last one was, then you would have actually done pretty well. So sometimes it's best not to overthink it. If we were to project out another 2 weekly cycles for the remainder of this year, the reason why this all looks a bit crazy is because I basically just grabbed the last weekly cycle and just went, if we were to do that same again, what happens? And by just putting two of the same next to each other, we do end up getting up here all the way just into the start of Q1 2026, actually. But that's 29 weeks, 29 weeks. We could have a case where, this starts all the way earlier here and we peak significantly earlier. So this is not like this is exactly what's happening, but this is the general trend of what we're expecting for this year. This is what should theoretically happen. We should go up now, make a positive high, come down, go up, make a high, and that's our final top. So it's all to see what's going to happen. Here, this gets us in if it just does exactly what it did last time, because this was technically kind of the high, this second one here. So if you're in the middle here, that's where our July period, somewhere around, the $135,000 to $150,000 level. But as you can see, Bitcoin it can spend a bit of time kind of dicking around. This is sort of day 15, day 30 of the 60-day cycle. There's a whole 60-day cycle. So it can kind of dick around for this 60-day cycle. But it's got a lot of ground to cover. Like, it's got to start moving. So if we get this 60-day cycle as just sideways and up, great. But really, it's got to start going. If we were to take this price action here and overlay it there, that once again also does take us to this one. Okay, so this one actually is the previous one from down here. So from a weekly perspective, weekly cycle, this is the general trend that we're expecting. We are expecting it to move across and up towards the end of the year. So we'll see if the weekly cycle extends later, which is generally actually bullish. So, okay, totally open to that. Then perhaps we could push into next year, but in the same vein, it could be shorter, in which case the top is in this year. But either way, 2 weekly cycles is currently sort of the mantra. There's 2 weekly cycles. We're in the second last one. So perhaps we get final top now. Who the fuck knows? But the evidence and the prior trends and the cycles are all telling us that we should expect this sort of 2 more weekly cycles to close out the entire 4-year cycle. So we had the big low last week. It was great. Everyone was sad. Great. That's what we wanted. That's happened. So now we really should be making higher highs. If we go across here and break down and we have a failed weekly cycle, then that means lower prices. But if we're going lower, then I don't see how we could possibly go higher. If Bitcoin falls to $50,000 in the next 4 or 5 months, how the fuck is it supposed to get, $166,000, $200,000? It suddenly becomes a lot more difficult, and people start to apply just hope and cope. We don't want to do that. We want to look at the numbers. So right now, although it kind of gave everyone a scare that first day, where it sort of just flew up a huge amount and then just dumped, it still didn't break the low, and now we've printed a higher bottom. So in terms of Bitcoin land, life's looking good. And if things go well for Bitcoin, it'll go well for the rest of the market, generally speaking. So for our Solana, we got our 5 weeks down. We also got a puke, just like Bitcoin, but as we can see, it is a higher low. So cool. We still want to see this come back up. We certainly don't want to just dick around in the lower part of the range. But we are expecting positive news this week on Friday. So just, you don't have to wait very long. And then also we've got the decision on Solana ETFs. So there's a potential that they could be approved as early as the 14th of March as well, which would also give us about day 14, day 15 of the 60-day cycle. So that's potentially a good spot to look out for a local top. Because once again, 60-day cycle, the low starts, day 15 high, day 30, ideally a higher low, and then day 45, a higher high, and then day 60, you close it out with another low, and you repeat again. So charting-wise, things are looking okay. We expected there to be weakness, and we got weakness. And now we are expecting not weakness anymore. We are expecting it can go sideways, but this motherfucker, it's time to go up. You've had your chance to make a low. You've done that. The volume's kicked in. So it's time for us to fucking go. And that's
good stuff. Good stuff. Steve, welcome to the show. We're going to jump right into it with thank you 0 to 100, $2 super test. It's not too late to jump on the XRP train, MLD. Hey, listen, you do it. You go ahead. You go ahead, do that. I think what we need to talk about next, real quick, James, I think one thing in regards to the market strength and everything that's happening right now is something we have been talking specifically because you brought it to our attention as the TradFi guy on our channel, and that is the global liquidity. Liquidity is starting to come in, and it is inevitably coming in, correct? There's no ands, ifs, or buts about this.
Yeah, because we're already seeing China pumping, what was that? close to a half
197 billion.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? And their economy is stagnant, and actually they're facing a deflation. Prices actually going down on goods and services, and people would think that, hey, if price goes down, how could it be bad, right? But the problem is that as the price goes down, the businesses they stop investing and start laying people off. Then the people get unemployment or get less employed, and they have less money to spend, and it goes in like almost death spiral, right? And only way you can kind of stop the death spiral and try to change the trajectory of the price is to pump in liquidity into the economy, right? And that's part of that whole our macro thesis of crypto tied to global liquidity cycle.
Right.
So let me
I could pull it up. I already got it right for you. You want to
Okay.
show the global liquidity
yeah, if you
picture?
can put that up on
Yeah,
the thing.
absolutely. So here we go. So it's up.
Yeah,
this-
again, yep. This is a little bit of lag because we're into first quarter of 2025, right? But trajectory is pretty much the same. We're probably around 30 now, maybe 35, right? So we still got a whole pretty much 2/3 plus of the up leg here going to end of 2025 or beginning of 2026 peak. So this has not changed. So what we're seeing in the market, we kind of agree on the show, was kind of sentiment-based pullback, not a liquidity-based pullback, right? Which is more of a quick pullback and quick recovery instead of like actual, fundamental liquidity-based cycle where price keeps going on for a year or two. And again, you guys haven't kept up with the news, macro news. There's that with the tariffs and Trump butting heads with the Powell, and a lot of these Doge cutting all the government spending, plus all the unemployment or the layoff that's happening. And as we find out that jobs number during the last previous administration was cooked because they were mostly the jobs added were either temporary jobs, part-time jobs, or government jobs. And now we see why those government jobs were added, right? Because they were just spending like crazy without thinking about where it's going or who's it's going to. So all that gets cleared out. Now, Powell and Trump would have to have a come to Jesus meeting and see if they can lower the rates because I think the inflation is going to come down pretty quick due to all these reduced spending. So now the bigger problem, I think, will become more likely the unemployment, and which will make the liquidity curve go up, right? So we're right on the same trajectory as we talked about since last year. Nothing has changed, guys. If you see a pullback, it's more opportunity to buy based on our opinion instead of sell.
Okay. Good. All right.
I just
So
saw something
speaking about that, did you want to say something, Lou?
Yeah, I just saw something about the money supply thing that could add on to that. If I could share it like really quickly, and then you could go,
Sure, go
and
ahead.
then I'll go over the charts afterwards. Okay. Let me just present the screen of what I have. So yeah, so you were just talking about the money supply, and that's the whole market is following that. Did you guys see this global M2 money supply and how it correlates with the Bitcoin chart? You see the screen, right? So
There's a lag.
Yeah. So 72-day lag. So basically, the yellow line is the global M2 money supply. The Bitcoin chart is the chart that's on the screen, and you could see that it's basically correlated perfectly. However, the global M2 money supply is 72 days behind the Bitcoin chart. So what this chart does is the reason why it's overlaid, exactly, is because we just moved the global M2 money supply forward 72 days. And that's how you're able to get this really good looking correlation that's almost like identical, right? And because we moved the global M2 money supply chart forward 72 days, that leaves the right side of the chart. You could see it's has a square around it. That already happened with the global M2 money supply. And because the Bitcoin chart has been following it, like what you see for the rest of the chart, it's been following it fairly accurately. There's a high probability now that it will continue to follow it and, move up from there. So that's just some like another correlation with what you were just talking about, and like specifically to the Bitcoin chart, and obviously super bullish.
Yeah, I usually use about 3-month lag. Again, 72 days, 75 days. We're kind of splitting hair, right? So I used about 3 months because I look at weekly or monthly chart typically for these cycles. And that's exactly what we were thinking from last year about our thesis being, one of our major thesis being is that crypto is a risk asset, and people tend to go risk on where there's when liquidity is going up, right? So as the global liquidity goes up, people will more like to go risk on, which crypto is part of that risk on instrument.
Yeah, it's like global liquidity and lower interest rates, so that it's a bigger, credit windows open and everything like that. So big things to look at for sure.
Yeah, because crypto is not a daily essential for a lot of people, right? So they have to have extra money to put into the market.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to add that first before I'll do anything else. So you could go back to.
All right, Steve is working with an actual research firm, and we have some good news regarding oil, energy, and a lot more. Steve, coming in live from Rome, Italy.
Yep.
Go ahead and
hello,
take the floor.
everybody. Okay, I'm on Italian hotel Wi-Fi, so it might be a little bit in and out.
Yep,
Bear
just
with
speak
me.
up because you're coming in low.
Gotcha. So right now we are seeing a lot of turbulence in the market between things like a lack of consumer confidence, tariffs, GDP came in a little bit weak for the quarter, as well as other fears surrounding the services sector. However, I think this is only going to be a momentary pullback. One thing that we need to consider here is, for the first time, oil has fallen beneath $70 per barrel, and gas prices have fallen along with it. These are the lowest prices that we've seen for these commodities in maybe 3 years, 4 years potentially. With oil falling this rapidly and as quickly as it has, last month it was trading around $78 a barrel. Now we're trading at around maybe $69 to $68 a barrel. If this continues, it'll be continued disinflation for the United States, and that'll give the Federal Reserve to cut rates a lot more quickly, helping along the process. The other thing is that with this more recent bad economic news, it's going to add on to the heap of pressure to be cutting rates earlier. I think a March rate cut would be a little too aggressive. We could see May. If we're lucky, we'll get in and around May. Definitely by June would be my current position. In terms of quantitative easing, as we were talking about earlier with global liquidity, coming from specifically the United States and the Federal Reserve adding to its balance sheet, I would say likely early summer. However, other central banks in other parts of the world have already begun this process, so we are beginning the greater global liquidity cycle, as you guys can see in the chart. I think as that begins to get revamped up, particularly when the Federal Reserve turns on its money printer, that'll be a massively bullish time for the markets. And so my ultimate long-term outlook is still bullish. However, I won't lie, the economy is slowing down a bit. We're beginning to get a little bit of headwinds, so there's going to be some turbulence until then, but we're still good. The underlying greater, if you zoom out into the economy and consider earlier quarters and consider the bigger picture, we're still fundamentally in a state of growth. Unemployment's still down. We're still creating more jobs than we're losing them. GDP is still growing in a wider, greater scale yearly view. So ultimately, this is not time to go waving the white flag. It's just recognize that we're going to have turbulence. I expect there to be a little bit of turbulence. And when I say that, I mean, I'm talking about the prices rising and falling rapidly day after day. Not necessarily, when I say that, I don't mean like a crash. I'm not saying that crypto is going to go crashing down in between now and then. It's more just expect volatility. I would say things will be looking pretty by a little before summer. Definitely by summer would be my current view.
Good
That's
stuff.
all that
Good
I have
stuff.
for now.
Good stuff. Thank you. Thank you very much. I know it's 3:40 something in the morning there in Italy. Appreciate you being here on the show. Lou, did you want to add anything before I'm gonna just give my take on just general what happened in this last week, and then we'll jump into the main topic of the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve.
I mean, I do have some charts.
Okay.
I could share. So I'll throw those up real quick.
Sounds good. Guys, don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Especially comment if you're watching on the replay, because we want to make sure that we're catering all of the best information for you. Remember, this show is for you. It is not for us. So in order for us to make improvements, please leave comments. And you help us in the algorithm by hitting like. Don't be lazy. We're giving you free alpha every week. We're saving your lives. There you go, Lou. Take it away.
All right. All right. So yeah, man, if you want to talk about volatility, or just like, this chart is the most bipolar thing you'll ever see. It literally is, you know, this is my, I was about to make a joke. I'm not even gonna do it, but like, I'm sure you know what I was gonna say. Anyway, look at this chart has been hell to traders. It has, like, the last few days especially, has been absolute hell to traders. So Alex, just explain the thought processes of why I went super bearish to now being pretty darn bullish, just back and forth, flip-flopping, because of what, you know, was said earlier about this weekly chart, right? So let me zoom in so it's easier to understand. Exactly like what he said. This candle, the fact that it closed all the way up here is absolutely insane, because this had less than 12 hours to go, and it was all the way down here. And then the news came out about the strategic crypto reserve. Boom! It shot all the way up to here with $10,000, I believe, and that was absolutely phenomenal. Because if it did close underneath, underneath this level, which here's the previous low that closed, if it closed underneath there, that would have been so incredibly bearish for crypto. But the price is the price, and it closed above it, which now, that's bullish. It means that we're still in that range. If we go down to the daily chart, we're still in the range that we've been all the way since November. And the fact that, we are, is phenomenal. And then the next day happened, and we gave all of it back, which so we went from literally bearish as hell to closing the week up here, which was bullish as hell, to retracing the entire move, which once again was bearish, as bearish as you could get. Because when there's a move that moves up, like how this did, basically, you do not want to see the price, and if I'll go down to the 1 hour chart, you do not want to see the price move back below what's known as the golden ratio, the Fibonacci, the 61.8. It's like the most, like Fibonacci is the biggest thing that a lot of people use, and the golden ratio is the 61.8. And if something is bullish, you do not want to see the price come back below there. And this lined up with, where basically the move started, right around here, right around this area, and you could even say it started around here. So, we had this right here looking super bullish, and then you could draw this line, and we went above this line, retested it, and everything was shouting, go long, go, like buy, and then we got the follow through. It was amazing, it was incredible. And then we retraced this entire move, and we started to bounce from this level. Okay, that's normal, that should happen. And then it fell underneath here. And when it fell back underneath, that is when basically it was like, we literally just gave back everything. What is going on? I'm jumping off of a bridge at this point. But as you could see now, what is happening now? Well, we're going right back up, which also doesn't happen if things are super bearish. So now you have to flip bullish again because now we're heading back up, and we should have been rejected from the 61.8 of moving upwards, which is right here. And you can see it did get a little bit of rejection, but now it's moving back up. And if you zoom back out, go back to the daily chart, you could see that, we bounced off of this area so many times, multiple times, just keep on bouncing off this area. And you could actually bring it right here to where the candle close, and we're pretty much back above there. And then you take into the account that we're going to have, you're going to talk about this in a minute, but like the crypto summit or whatever, and all the people that are there, should I mention what, like the people that are going to be there, or do you want to, do all that? Like the people that are going to be at the summit, because I have some info on that too.
Dude, go for it.
Can you see the Instagram page right now?
Yep. Say whatever you want,
Okay.
buddy. Free speech channel. Go. Alpha.
Sweet. Okay, so look at this. This is the confirmed people that are at the summit, that are going to be at the summit.
Wait, just go ahead and hit Control plus. Yeah. Bigger. More. Way more.
Give me 1 second. Let me do this.
There you go. Perfectly. Thank you.
Okay. Obviously, Donald Trump, Bo Hines, David Sachs. But okay, so we got Brad Garlinghouse. We have Michael Saylor. We have all of these people. And next to it, it shows, what is the thing to look at. So obviously Cardano, ADA, because that's part of the strategic crypto reserve. We have
who founded Multicoin?
Founded Multicoin?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was David Sachs.
But I know David Sachs I know he's an investor in it for sure.
Yeah.
And so, and Ondo too, which is actually insane that Ondo is going to be here, because we had an insanely bullish setup on Ondo too. But you could see all of these people, Brian Armstrong, even CZ is going to be there, which is surprising because, it's China, and obviously Vitalik Buterin. So we have the biggest names in all of the industry coming to this. You think like what you've been telling me, do you really think that Trump is going to invite all of these people and not unleash, not drop an absolute bombshell of an announcement, if not the biggest news that you could possibly have? It seems almost like inevitable that it's going to do that.
Yeah, this is kind of turning out to be almost who's who of crypto industry, right?
Yeah,
and
crypto Avengers.
And yeah, I mean, these guys, it's brewing to be something big event, like you said, Lou. I mean, he's inviting pretty much anybody in crypto industry, and these guys don't get together for some bullshit reason, right?
Yeah, so, do not get together for some bullshit reason.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty obvious right now that the plays are Bitcoin. And then if you want to look at altcoins, you could look at what these, what the people are representing.
Zoom in a little bit, buddy. Just zoom in.
We have Solana, we have Cardano, we have Ethereum. Ondo is one that I absolutely love, and they work with BlackRock. And also AVAX and Near. So I actually decided to go long AVAX today when I saw this. But yeah, you could use this information and to look at the chart. To decide where to, what to buy and what to sell and everything like that. And then I'll go back to TradingView. One thing that I do is I'll look at the charts, and you could actually compare. So you look at Solana, right? And it's it's looking like it's reversing. It's looking really good. You could also look at Solana against Bitcoin to see, should you go into Solana or should you go into Bitcoin? Which one do you think is better? You could do the same thing with XRP. Would you want to be in Bitcoin or would you want to be in XRP? And you could actually even compare them to each other, XRP against Solana. So this is actually something that I do, which is basically, if I want to know, do I want to go into Bitcoin? Do I want to go into Solana? Do I want to go into XRP? Do I want to go to Cardano? Or do I want to go into something else? I could just literally compare all of them to each other in the charts and then figure this out. But from the analysis that I did earlier, really, oh, and I'll show you this. It's the Bitcoin dominance chart. Really, it's Bitcoin that is the powerhouse. And you could see that through this chart, which is the Bitcoin dominance chart. And pretty much this chart shows how much money is in Bitcoin compared to other, all the other cryptocurrencies, right? And obviously, as Bitcoin dominance moves up, a lot more money is going into Bitcoin compared to everything else. Bitcoin is really just getting the total dominance. And the opposite of this is the altcoin dominance chart. And you could see that the dominance level, the percentage of money that's in the entire cryptocurrency market, the percentage of money that's going into altcoins compared to Bitcoin is just falling. Like there's a lot more money going into Bitcoin compared to altcoins. And that's why this is falling for this altcoin dominance chart. And really,
I think another thing is as altcoins continue to just be flooded with trash, Bitcoin is becoming more of the safe investment. It really is just like
exactly.
It used to be very risk on, but not so much the case.
We're not, and because of that, I actually just updated this Bitcoin dominance chart and altcoin dominance chart. I used to say, okay, like maybe we'll come back down to the lows for Bitcoin dominance. I personally don't think we will ever see these type of lows again in terms of Bitcoin dominance. I think Bitcoin dominance is going to continue to outperform and take up more money compared to altcoins than basically anything. And it's never going to have, like back in 2021, like this season, where just Bitcoin dominance drops and altcoins go absolutely crazy. Same thing with 2017 and 2018. Bitcoin dominance was dropping off of a cliff and altcoins were going crazy. All the money was going into altcoins. I just don't see that happening anymore in terms of dominance levels. And so the safest bet and the easiest thing is definitely Bitcoin. And then maybe, so now there's two areas left. Basically, there's two areas left for us to turn around and then for altcoins to really rally. The first one was literally right here. And this was just like how I mentioned before, the golden ratio, the Fibonacci, the 61.8. You could see right there, this is the 61.8 on the chart. And that's the Fibonacci of this entire move down. Well, we came right up to it. And then what do you know? We reversed from there. And this happened to be exactly when Trump became president. It lined up. It's crazy how it lined up with all of the news that was super, super bullish. And the chart and the Fibonacci lined up precisely with that. And then we went down for about 3 to 4 weeks, and altcoins did go crazy during that time. But now you could see all the money flew back into Bitcoin, and we've just been moving up and up and up. And we're back above the golden ratio Fibonacci. So I believe that we're probably most likely going to still see Bitcoin dominating in terms of where most of the money is going. And I wasn't even thinking about this before, but it's possible that we might see Bitcoin dominance come all the way back up to where it was back before the big bull market of 2021. And then this is where you will finally see, some just like altcoins go absolutely crazy, and maybe like whatever the biggest news you could possibly think of, happens. Like every nation state in the world is adopting cryptocurrency or something like that, and like there's a new paradigm, and everyone's going to be saying that, and everyone's going to be saying like it's only going to go higher, and it's like it's never going to drop, and maybe like during that time we'll see all the alts go up, and then that's going to be the top. So yeah, I changed my view when it comes to the dominance levels. I don't think we're ever going to come all the way back down here again. I think we're going to experience these type of things, just much shorter durations.
Yeah. I want to
And
just add on to that. I think a lot of people calling for an alt season are just out of touch. A lot of people still are mentally in 2021. There's not going to be another alt season where things.
Well, I kind of disagree with that. I think what's happening is that we talked about it. The Bitcoin is kind of separating itself from rest of the crypto market, right? Because
yes,
the Bitcoin dominance is higher when whole market goes down because Bitcoin doesn't go down as much as the rest of the market, right? So then the all season, I think there would be all season, except it's not going to be across the board. You buy any shit coin, it'll go up. It'll be very selected of few altcoins that's going to have a real good narrative, real good fundamental, increasing or accelerating on the adoption curve. That's going to have, AI or RWA or any like a financial transaction or some kind of adaptability and use that's going to go up. Not, you buy some alt dot shitcoin dot whatever, right? So you're gonna be very selective on the altcoins going forward.
And I think the easiest ones for people are the ones that are in the strategic crypto reserve at this point.
Exactly. That's a good guy.
What this reminds me of, I don't know if you guys remember, but during C19, Trump had a press conference and he's like, I endorse these companies. It was Abbott, it was McDonald's, it was Walmart, it was all these companies. He's like, I endorse these companies to be the official resuppliers and reigniters of America. And if you held Abbott stock in 2020, 2021, forget it. You became a millionaire. I think what we're seeing is something of equivalency here because, as you know, this administration, and the great thing, I know a lot of people are upset about Elon Musk or whatever being in there. I mean, retards are really straight up, like, let's be honest.
Retard alert.
But the fact is we have two entrepreneurs in that White House now, which is what we need. Like, because if you're an entrepreneur, you need to keep profits as high as possible and cost as low as possible because you never know where your next dollar is coming from. In the United States government, you're incentivized to spend your budget to the maximum extent every year. That is the opposite of anything logically. Even the average citizen can't be spending all their money. Like, they don't look to like, how can I spend all my money by the end of the year? They're trying to make more money, save more money, have more investments. So I think that really is going to be something that is going to be cutting a lot of bloat. And there's just a lot more common sense in this government. Also, in addition to that, this man has not even been president for 2 months. He has not been in the office for 2 months. It feels like so much is getting done with a lot of things also on the horizon. The Ukraine just came to the table despite people criticizing Trump about everything that happened with his Zelensky meeting. Zelensky has now come to the table and he's ready to sign. He's ready to get the deal done. I think also there's going to be more stability between Israel and Hamas because that has been a nightmare. That has been a nightmare since Biden came into office. And then you have a war on that front, and then just a couple miles east, you have millions of people dying in Ukraine, forced conscriptions, and then a just gigantic boatload of hundreds of billions of dollars flowing to that war, that pointless, senseless war that Ukraine is absolutely going to lose. There's no way they're going to come out victorious in this. So I think once all this nonsense stop, we're going to have an opportunity just to focus on what everybody in the planet wants to do right now. Everybody just wants to make money. Nobody cares about genders, pronouns, all this bullshit. Everybody's hurting economically. China's hurting. Japan is hurting. Korea's hurting. Like, smaller developing economies like Thailand and Philippines are doing okay, but people are just ready just to get back to work, and that's what we need. And the biggest bloat on everybody who is an entrepreneur or a successful person, the biggest bill you have is your tax bill. And it would be one thing if the tax money was being taken and increasing the quality of your life, fixing the streets, getting homeless people off the streets. But we're sending it to transgender operas in fucking Colombia and stuff like that. So, and I wish I was being, a joking matter, but this is actually happening. So there's a lot of clarity. What I think is happening right now is we're doing a lot of stuff which Trump is doing, this administration is doing, which is short-term bearish, long-term bullish. The whole perspective of the market, in my opinion, we're gearing up right now, in my opinion, to have a pretty good quarter four. you know, and the more TradFi gets involved in this industry, TradFi is known, you know, you set the stage in quarter 1, you get a little pump there, and then come Q4, that's when you rip it and then close the books, you know, and then everything kind of crashes off. We've seen that consistently happen with cryptocurrency since the 2017 bull market, 2021 bull market. We saw that last year with you know, the election, and like a pretty steep drop off in December heading into January as well. So we have a lot of things that are set the stage here right now. In addition to that, I want to just add something. Lewis, did you want to say anything else, buddy? Sorry about that.
You're good.
Okay. Shout out to JJ, the Water Bear Oracle. She sends a $2 super sticker. Thank you very much. Beautiful. In addition to all this news, I'm going to jump in real quick and just give you guys a shotgun of news. Also, James, you sent me something about MartyParty found something on the chain. I don't know if you can elaborate on that.
Yeah, Lou heard that actually, and we were discussing kind of on the side about it. A lot of times when you're a trader, you see the price action on the chart. Then after whatever little bit of lag, the probable reason of why that price action happened kind of comes out, right? So when MartyParty, I guess, tweeted this, Louis, right? We're seeing a jump in the volume across the board for these potential strategic reserve coins in last a few hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned this, and then after this was posted, Bitcoin did reclaim 92,000. It was brief. We're fighting right now. So also we've had some good price action despite some bad news with the ETFs. I told you guys at home the easiest and most brain dead indicator you could look at every day is the inflows of the ETFs. And in February, we had a record-breaking 3 billion plus outflows. So that's definitely going to affect the price, and that's definitely going to affect the market. But like, just look at the charts on any stock that has survived. S&P 500, NASDAQ, Dow Jones, you name it. Yes, it goes down, but these people cannot help themselves. They are junkies. They're going to buy back in, and the price is going to go up. Like James is laughing because he knows what I'm talking about. These people are animals, and they can't help themselves. So we had some pretty bad inflows. I'm going to show you guys a couple of charts here. So again, this is great piece of data right here. This is on the block.co. As you can see here, if we just go to the last 3 months, like this is what people were freaking out about. We had some pretty bad outflows here. We had 1 billion on the 25th. Yeah, we had 750 million on the 26th. And before that, we had 500 million. Those are all outflow days. And then, like this time right here, you have close to $3 billion in outflows, a little bit over 2 billion. And then back here, we had 600 million. It was just a bleed out. And also, we had the bleed out via the ETFs. And we also had the worst February in the history of Bitcoin. But we also, people forget, November was insane. Like, November was literally the most insane chart action we've had in the history of Bitcoin. Am I wrong there, guys? But I'm pretty sure it was like that was the craziest uptrend movement we had in the history of Bitcoin. So what goes up, it has to come back down eventually. And it's just a healthy reclaiming of some lower lows.
November was close to $35,000 a move candle
for the month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just
even that weekly cycle was 105%, which usually is like 80%. That was like,
So when you guys hear, like, you have to understand, you're not going to have an asset that just goes up, 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 up all the time. And if you do, it's probably a scam meme coin that's going to get rugged any minute, So,
Octua.
Yeah, Octua, you name it. There is just a lot of, I'm going to go back here real quick. I'm going to pull up the chart because just to show you guys, like, just looking at it as a whole. So here's the trading view of. Okay, so this is what we had here. This is the daily. Okay, so this is the day the election happened, and then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We had a week of consecutive violent up movement from 67K all the way up here to 88K. Like every day we were waking up and just going up, 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 up. And then we had a little bit of, pullbacks here and there, but we went up and we ripped and we ripped and we ripped all the way till December 18th. So we went up consecutively for over a month straight. Then we had a little bit of decompression right here, which was normal. And then we had this was also leading up to Trump's election. The all-time high was set here on January 21st. And then we have now been decompressing. And to keep in mind, again, this right here was when we had the previous all-time high, and we consolidated for 6 months. So then we had a really violent move upwards. And in my opinion, I think that's what's going to happen again. I think we're going to are you, James, you think we're going to melt up, or you think I think we're going to consolidate?
No, I think we're going to do the same thing as in November. We're going to see like God candle like moves up, and it's going to probably go up. I think it's going probably 150,000, right?
What's your time frame on that?
Probably before summer.
Really? 150K before summer?
Yeah. Then we're going to do another pullback like this. And when people are panicking and they're screaming in the streets, the bull market's over, right? And
me and Lewis.
Again, the typical bull run or bull cycle in a lot of the financial instruments usually run about 3 to 5 sine wave cycles, right? And here, let me share my chart. Oh, where's that?
Real quick, while James is pulling that up, I'm going to go give some real quick information on today's ETF data. So again, HODL 15 Capital. If you're serious about making money and you're not following this account and checking this on a day-to-day basis, I can't take you seriously as a trader. You got to be watching this stuff every day. So we only have 3 companies reporting so far. Grayscale and the Grayscale money in with 0. Bitwise with a -7 million. Arc Capital with 0 in as well. So no Fidelity, no HODL, and no BlackRock yet. But today's volume was 2.46 billion. Looking green. So and then also today, Bitcoin, we started the day off like Bitcoin was like what? When we started the day today, it was like what, 82, 83? Pretty. Actually, I could just pull up the chart right now and tell you guys. I don't know what StreamYard's doing that. It's being really weird. Today, we started the day here right around 86, and then we peaked up here around 92. 92 is when we really peaked up. I was like right around here. We just hit it. So that's a huge move. That's a $6,000 move. James, whenever you're ready, bud. But again, bullish news heading into there, and then also kind of telling what Steve was watching. This is like an unofficial indicator, but look, guys, we're still in the infancy of cryptocurrency, whether you want to believe it or not. So a great indicator, in my opinion, is Polymarket. And as Steve was saying, March is unfortunately looking like there's just going to be no change, no rate cut. But if you look at May, this has drastically changed. We have been trending down to potentially having a 25 basis points cut, which when we have a cut, we're going to get some movement in the price because this is going to make money cheaper. Liquidity is going to hit the market. And then June also, as was trending for no change, is actually now dominant for 25 basis point cut in June. So it would be nice to get one in March. Probably not going to get one in March. I have no idea what Jerome Powell is doing or thinking, because you have to turn the money printer back on or we go into financial ruin. That's just the way it is. So that being said, May, June, and this kind of ties in what James has been saying that, we're going to have some big price action pre-summer. James, go ahead. You have it on the screen right now, buddy.
Yep. Okay, here.
And chat.
So this is a Bitcoin price chart. As we see here, we started we can call starting our bull run probably here. This candle, March of 2023, right? And we kind of had a sideways action. until we had this run up to March of 2024. Then we kind of went almost sideways and a little bit of pullback or the correction, right? Until we had October of 2024. Then we had a crazy move. Now we're kind of going back and consolidating. So again, we had a one up move. This is a second up move, right? Or possibly, if you want to count this as one up move, this is a second up move. This third up move, right? So you can read second or third up move. Typical financial markets go either 3 to 5 cycles, up cycles, right? In a huge run up. So let's just say, hey, if this was first, this was second, this is pretty natural for Bitcoin to kind of consolidate, waiting for the next up move, right? So it's still not over. And looking at your total crypto market cap,
almost identical.
oh yeah, but remember, kind of going back, right? Total crypto market cap, it's been in this up channel that started here, October 2023, maybe. Yep.
That's when the rumor leaked. The ETF rumor leaked by the Cointelegraph intern.
So now we're in this kind of consolidation here with the possible consolidation at 2.7 trillion, which we broke through a couple of times. But like Lou was saying in earlier episodes, with a candle like this, with a huge, tail, they're springs. They're actually a bullish indicator, right? It means that the price went down, but the demand came in and pushed the price back up, right? So we're kind of in the middle of a consolidation. So this bull market is far from being over. We'll possibly have another 1 to 2 to 3 more up moves. I said probably 1 to 2.
Interesting. What do you say, Alex?
2 weekly cycles. There you go.
2 weekly cycles. So what's your price? Give for the smooth brains out there. What are those price targets, James?
I would say one up move would be 150 to 200, and if we get another up move, I would say we go 300 plus.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, if you guys don't know, Howard Lutnick, he is the U.S. Secretary of Commerce, and he is a big proponent of Bitcoin. He will be in attendance to the Crypto Summit this upcoming Friday, March 7th. We will be doing a Crypto Minute episode live, broadcasting it. Probably going to be a long one. Won't be a minute. But we're going to be giving you the alpha raw, quick, and live as we watch everything. I personally will be live streaming the entire thing here on this channel. So don't forget to set your reminder to be here. Take a quick look at what Howard Lutnick has to say about Bitcoin. This was just recently this week.
I guess the easiest way to get a clear view of where Bitcoin is going over the next 5 years is take a look at the last 5. The last 5, Bitcoin has been an outsider in the finance business, becoming closer and closer and closer. Right now, there's an ETF, but banks still can't clear it. Banks still can't transact in it. Banks still can't custodian it. Banks still won't transact in it, and they won't finance it yet. I think people misunderstand traditional financial service companies. They want to transact in Bitcoin. They want new asset classes to transact in. That's just a good thing, but they need the regulator to say it's okay. If the regulatory environment was good, you will see all the traditional financial service companies, the big banks, the brokerage companies, they're all going to go headfirst into Bitcoin pond. That's what's going to happen, and it's coming. And when that happens, you're going to see Bitcoin move in a very, very strong positive direction. So that's why I'm a fan of Bitcoin. It's going to go much higher. It always bounces around like any other financial asset, but ultimately over the next 5 years, as it gets invited into this party, up we go. I guess the easy.
So that's incredibly huge change in demeanor, because the United States government used to lead an all-out frontal assault on cryptocurrency, And I was talking to a loan officer yesterday, and she was telling me the United States government still does not recognize at a federal level that cryptocurrency profits, as well as marijuana sales profits, they do not count that as.
Oh,
Go ahead,
a
James.
lot of the states, if
Steve,
you own a dispensary, you cannot deposit. Seriously,
See you, buddy.
you
Go get
cannot
some sleep.
deposit.
So
You cannot
Here's
deposit
your
your profit or the revenue from your dispensary in a FDIC insured bank, because it's still considered a federal crime, right? The sale of marijuana, so they cannot hold your money because you're a criminal, pretty much. So there's like this gray area, and there's these holding companies that charge you arm and a leg to kind of safeguard your cash, which is, these companies are obviously not FDIC insured. They're like a private security service where they come by with a private armored truck and guards to take your cash and keep it for you safe, because obviously you don't want to keep such a large amount of cash in your store, right? So but they charge you arm and a leg, unlike bank. So there's this gray area, just like you said, John, especially with the marijuana, that it's U.S. government still consider it as a money from criminal enterprise.
Yeah, and it will be changing. They're gonna change that. I think it's a shame that Bitcoin is still held in regard in tandem with drugs. But hey, it is what it is. That being said, let's shift the topic real quick to this upcoming March 7th. So we have rumors, and actually Howard Lutnick has confirmed on multiple times that they actually will be debuting the legitimacy of the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. Now, what avenues of voting and everything that it needs to go through, I'm not entirely sure yet if this does have to get approved. But I do think just the announcement of it already has led China to be saying, hey, we are absolutely going to start having some behind the door meetings in regards to legitimacy of establishing a crypto asset reserve, because America does something and the whole world copies. That's just pretty much how it does. If you check out this website is called bitcoinlaws.io. You can track this at home, but you could just see state by state who is leading the race. And that is really shocking, is that Utah is actually leading the race here to enacting a state reserve. And I'm telling you, this is going to be very similar to marijuana. Okay. The states that do make it legal, they're going to be seeing massive amounts of profits, and these, the government agencies that need money right now more than ever. Fiat currency is dying. No matter what coin you have, fiat currency wise, you're heading to zero. They're going to realize like holding this is just a race against the inevitable race to zero with inflation, with inflationary currency. So that being said, this is a great website just to track the status. Unfortunately, some states have already struck it down: Montana, North Dakota, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, and Wyoming. Very shocked about Wyoming, because that's where Senator Cynthia Lewis is from, and that was struck down dead. So we're gonna have to see a reintroduction of that.
Kind of rewinding a little bit, Wyoming, actually, they are in process of approving state-backed stablecoin, and the final two candidates they're looking at is AVEX and SUI. That's why I think one of the reasons AVEX pumped recently is that I think it might be leaning towards AVEX, not SUI, right? So I think once that stablecoin framework gets approved in Wyoming, I think they might have to go revisit this Bitcoin reserve thing, right? Because I think it's all about the comfort level with the regulators or the politicians with this Bitcoin thing.
And the only thing that I just would like to see, I would like the things enacted, faster, because it's just things are just so slow with the government, which is, it is what it is. But I would like to see this moving faster. But going back to the announcement this Friday, I will go ahead and lead the charge. I think this is going to be, I don't think this is a nothing burger, because a lot of these people coming to meet President Trump, like some of these people are billionaires, and like billionaires' time is extremely important. I mean, CZ's coming from, is he based in Malta? Because I know Binance is like headquartered in Malta.
Yeah, something like that.
He's coming from far away. Real quick, CC says, "Hi, John. Is the Bitcoin reserve the start of a new narrative?" I would say yes. Then the narrative continues as other countries start reserves of their own. Yes, I would say so for sure. I think that the narrative now is going to be administration from the government. I think legislation and everything coming from the United States government. I think that is the thing.
So I think it's almost like a top-down narrative, right? The government, the federal government, saying, "Hey, we're going to do a Bitcoin reserve." Then once we see things working out for the federal government using Bitcoin or the crypto reserve, the states are going to copy, right? Then once states are copying, the municipality and the city is going to copy. Then you're going to start seeing, like the teachers union or homeowners association or individual level, where people are having, "Hey, you know what? Maybe I need my own Bitcoin reserve," right? So this is just the beginning of the narrative.
Yeah. But that narrative, like, okay, who knows if that becomes the prevailing narrative, but you can easily see how that is a path to ridiculous price movements. Like 300,000, like, whoa, that's huge. That is actually massive. But if the whole world is getting on board and it goes out of control, because remember, the market is going to shit the bed at some point. So, it's
right.
If you hold it in a long enough time frame, you'll be fine. But if we get to 300,000, don't be surprised on a round trip back to 100 before then. So
no, what a round
lot
trip.
of fucking sad people. So yeah, if the whole world all of a sudden just goes bananas, but we just got to buy it, then you could see just absolute generosity, which is great for us.
And you just have you have permanent Gigabull Saylor coming out recently saying this.
Bitcoin is not competing with the dollar. It's competing with international real estate, global equities, expensive money managers on Wall Street, and any long-range investment that somebody makes. And so right now we're about $2 trillion in Bitcoin. It's going to 20 trillion, then it's going to 200 trillion, then it's growing 20% a year. And that capital is coming from overseas. It's coming from China, from Russia, from Europe, from Africa, from Asia, from the 20th century to the 21st century. So what's compelling about it is if the United States takes a position in the emerging crypto economy, if it buys up 10, 20% of the Bitcoin network, we're going to pay off the national debt. And so why wouldn't that be in the interest of the United States?
So that's just like I said, he will be in attendance as well. Another billionaire, another Mexican billionaire this year or this week also allocated 70%. I think his net worth is $5 billion, and he's allocated 70% of his fucking net worth into Bitcoin. In addition to that, I think the world is really looking at the number one highest approval rated president in the world, Bukele, down in El Salvador. They have a Bitcoin strategic reserve, and people have been watching this man who was laughed at, dollar cost average in, and just buy. He was actually the first one to call President Trump and congratulate him. And Trump is not a dumb guy. And also, I would say this, Trump's ego is definitely connected to the performance of assets in the United States market. He's always bragging about stock market. Now, crypto's on the table, and it's very simple. Ask yourself this at home, okay? Do you think Donald Trump, this administration, who has touted themselves as the first ever pro-Bitcoin administration, will allow Bitcoin to crash and burn and die in 2025? It's all over. We're all wrecked. The answer is no, because it would be devastating to his approval ratings. It'll be devastating to the economy, and he will have a large percentage of people hating him for the next 4 years, which he just can't handle right now. General thoughts on the upcoming Friday event, guys?
I don't think we'll get a full, 100% package thing. I think it's more of what I'm thinking is it'll be some kind of framework for the Bitcoin reserve, saying that, hey, we want to include these. we want to, invest this much of GDP or this much of national budget. Here's how it's going to go. So they're going to lay out the framework and possibly a timeline of how it's going to go and when it will be approved. Then it's going to probably have to go to Congress and go through the normal, approval process through Congress.
Yeah, but the Republicans are so united right now. I just don't see it.
Oh yeah, yep.
Get struck
Yep.
down.
And they have both House and the Senate, right?
Yes.
So
And they all own a bunch of crypto.
Yeah. If the Dems strike it down, I mean, because at first the Democrats, at first crypto was a very Democrat thing. Like people were like, oh, like that's what we want. Like it used to be the party of the people. But now it has become the warmonger, take the vaccine and make your kids gay party. And people just don't want to deal with that crap. So I'm looking at everything right now. And I talked about this about Sunday when Trump made his announcement, the crypto reserve. I think they're going to mention maybe the crypto reserve and a Bitcoin strategic reserve, because Brian Armstrong came out and said, I don't think this is a good idea. Same thing with Winklevoss. They were like, we need a Bitcoin strategic reserve. And Trump is a guy that, he modifies his position if it makes sense financially. So what I'm looking at right now, because as you guys know, the darling child of this bull market, aside from Bitcoin, is Solana. And I think we potentially are going to have a chain reaction. This is obviously nobody knows what's going to happen. But I was mentioning this out to Lewis as well as the guys in the research team about the implications of what's going to happen in the first 14 days of March, which actually ties into the cycles theory as well, with Bitcoin potentially having some new highs around mid-March. So the thing that I'm looking at for you guys that are holding Solana and other coins like Ripple and whatnot, but this is mainly because of Solana, right? So here's what I'm looking at. Very simple. You could take a screenshot of this at home if you will. But what we had so far, we had the Trump tweet of the crypto reserve, and that was on Sunday. So here we are there. Okay, now we have the March 7th summit with people like Solana and XRP and ADA in attendance. So that is going to be happening right there. And then we have a Solana ETF decision. So the ETF decision can either be approved, okay, it can be flat out denied, or it can be extended. They can extend the decision based upon this. So depending on what happens here, we could kind of predict what is going to happen with the decision. Are we going to get approval? Right? The rejection is most likely not going to happen on the 14th. I think if it gets flat out rejected, then that's going to be bad. I don't know what's going to happen there. Most likely we're going to have an approval and or an extension. One of these two things are going to happen. I really could confidently say we're not going to get a flat out rejection. So this is also setting a pretty good narrative, because February we went down, and we typically don't violently go down 2 months in a row in a bull market. So March, in my opinion, is looking to be bullish. And this is why, because I cannot read charts to save my life. I have a general idea, but this is how I trade. And Steven, he had to go to bed, but Steven doesn't really read charts. He's a fundamental analysis guy as well. He looks at the fundamentals, profits, revenue reports, all that for the companies. This is how I look at this. This is all regarding the Trump admin and their decisions. So this is my official statement. I do believe March is going to be green and bullish. Again, that's why we're talking about these events here. But if this turns out to be a nothing burger, then obviously this will most likely be a nothing burger. But it doesn't make fundamental sense for these things to be nothing burgers. What do you guys think about this there on the panel?
Yeah, there's a bit of
I think the pullback was in anticipation of this. They need to start filling their bags, right? So as you can see from the chart, this was a violent pullback, not fundamental driven, which, there was no outage. There was Yeah, okay. So meme coin narrative has died. Okay, I get it.
Thank
But
God.
that, even when you take that out, Solana is pushing the most volume through its chain using DeFi and other transactions. So I think some of it probably was the meme coins dying, but I think a lot of it has to do with possible market manipulation for these ETF candidates to start filling their bags.
Yeah.
And if it is, then once they're done filling their bags, they're going to let it rip. And that's what we might see.
We had the Bybit hack, and they didn't go bust. And at the tops, that's usually when like exchanges start to go bust. That's when projects start to fail. Whereas they were just like, yeah, cool. We just, within a day, they had replenished the reserves with a couple of loans from a couple of different exchanges because it was in their best interest to keep the market up. So they could, and it was fine. It was totally fine.
And but remember, we had a new song. Oh, sorry, Alex.
You're good. Go for it.
Okay. Remember, we discussed last show that Citadel, multi-trillion-dollar market makers, that they're jumping in now, right? So this could be, combined with that they might be the market makers for, some of these ETF transactions for Solana, Ripple, whatever, Litecoin, whatever. So they need a liquidity base. You can just come in and start buying stuff because it's going to drive the price up, especially your size of Citadel, right? So they need some kind of narrative to bring the price down where they can start filling their bags at a stable, low price until they can get their liquidity base. Then they start doing their work as market maker. So this could be part of that price action. We're seeing that big guys, the whales, are filling their bags for some type of anticipation of upcoming events.
And they'd already
Lewis?
been in.
Oh, mute it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, and it's probably still the case. What threw me off was Trump's tweet about it. I mean, it's obvious that they're going to fill their bags before, any big news event. So I was sort of just like waiting for that to happen. And then the price was showing that we were going to drop. And like, I don't know. I don't think that without his tweet, there's no way we would have reclaimed the weekly. There's no way that we would be moving up right now. It was everything was panned out for us to drop to a particular level and then, or at least like drop pretty significantly and then turn around from there. And but now that he tweeted about it, it's like everyone knows about it now. So it changes that dynamic of, okay, no one knows about it, so all the insiders can load up and then make the announcement, and they're going to make so much money. I mean, sort of it gives people more time to accumulate, and it's almost like it's better for the people. Like at this point, like compared to if he would have like not said anything, the price would have kept on going down. And I mean, at this point, the price is bullish. It did close the weekly above. I was not expecting it. It was like 5-6 hours or something. And I was making my video and I was like, okay, so typically you want to wait until the week closes, but like, what's going to happen? It's really going to go up 10 grand in a week. Like that's probably not going to happen. So just fuck it. Like, and I literally said that. I mean, at least, granted, in my update, I did say like, if we do come up there, like sell everything and it's gonna crash back down, and like so, like that did end up happening. But the fact that we are coming back, like after crashing back down, like I was expecting us to eventually come back up and retest the underside of that big support resistance flip. Eventually, we're gonna have that, median return, like, and then it was supposed to crash from there, and like it did. But like I was expecting it to like meet there and then crash and then like go even further, make a lower low, us consolidate for a little bit, and really make everyone who fucking bought when Trump became president and like all the new stuff came out in all the news came out in November, like really make them feel extreme amounts of pain, like by sending Bitcoin down to 74 or possibly even below there, like, and then really just have them be like, crypto's a scam, like this is so dumb, yada yada yada. But maybe like we're just so bullish that it's not gonna end up doing that. And like I said, like until the weekly closes, and at least the daily at this point now like has to close underneath, like basically the chart has to tell me and like what the hell is up. And like right now it's Bitcoin chart is still bullish, it's still above even there's even one other thing. Let me see if I could get this up really quickly. Yeah, like there's even like this line from August of 2024. So that's been a long time. And you can see it bounced off here, bounced off of here, bounced off of here. You extend it. It bounced off of here. And typically what happens is it could come underneath of it, but the next day it has to reclaim it. And it reclaimed it, which is another reason why I was saying like, oh shit, like it's so fucking bullish, it's super fucking bullish. Like when we reclaim that line over here, like there were so many things that were saying we're so bullish, like when this happened, right? And then we had the big move up, and once we started retracing and we retraced under the 61.8, I thought, okay, this shit was just a fake. It was a fake move up. It was all bull crap. We're going to come back down. We're going to close under here. And where's my little tool? And we're going to like, do this and then come down here, retest this, and then do some bullshit, spike down for like, an hour. So everyone gets freaked out, come back up, and then, go to all new time highs. But like we bounced again off of this huge trend line that we just continually bounce off of constantly, fake breakdown, move up, retest of the trend line. And now we're moving back up. Now we're moving back up again. And it's like, that's bullish. You can't say that that's not bullish. And, before this happened, shit was looking bearish as fuck. This happened, it looked bullish as fuck. Before this happened, it looked bearish as fuck. But now it's obvious. It's so bullish. And you can't really, even if you were a bear, you can't short it at this point. Even though this is the area to short, you would short it in this area. You would sell in this area. But the time to sell was when we first got it, when it first came up, like, a couple days ago during the announcement. That was a good time to sell. But now that we've come all the way back up here again, that and we have the big, possible huge announcement tomorrow, it would be really stupid to be in leveraged positions right now. On either side, but like also it would be stupid to sell because there's the potential of something like what you were talking about, such good potential of something so good coming out. Let me stop. Is my screen still good or no?
No, it's
okay. There you go. Oh, you have to do it on your end. Sorry.
You did right. The software's messing up.
Okay, but yeah, like there's too much potential or possibility for some crazy thing to happen that like even if I was bearish at this point, I still wouldn't sell and be short. Like because who knows what Trump is going to say? Who knows what's going to come out? And but you could use deductive reasoning like what you were talking about before and say, look, they're not going to invite all of these people here, the biggest leaders in the entire industry, to have it be a nothing burger to say, oh, crypto is really good. Good job. Like they might say we're getting rid of all of the fucking bullshit SEC cases, like because they've already been getting rid of most of them, right? So they could say we're dropping all of them. He could say I'm signing an executive order for like XYZ, this and this in the crypto world. He could say we're going to start a crypto mining portion of the government, and we're going like these are like random things that you can't even think about, you don't even know, but
Capital
you don't know with him, because he did mention before we want to make crypto the United States the crypto mining capital of the world. He mentioned that multiple times. So what if he says we're creating a new arm of the government that's going to strictly be for crypto mining, and that's going to become into the crypto Bitcoin reserve? I don't know, there's so many things.
Wow.
That could
I didn't think about that. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
you know,
Yes.
so yeah, you have to like the odds are in your favor, you know.
Yeah, because like what you were saying, Louis, is that if he said, okay, well, remember he put in an executive order, put out an executive order for a sovereign wealth fund, which is allowed to invest in crypto, right? And he said, hey, within that fund, we're going to start funding or starting a mining or a validator node operation for some of these cryptos that we're looking at, like Solana, XRP, mining for Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? Holy shit, that'll be huge too.
Yeah, like you have to think like what else is there possible, and that is a possibility at this point, you know. It's like, so yeah, you gotta be looking at these positive stuff, and I mean,
yeah, and I want to tie this into because I wanted to specifically talk about Solana here. So I want to show you guys some data that I've just been, because you know we've been very, very bullish on Solana, and like Ethereum has been the joke of the whole bull run. It is like,
did you see the thing that came out today? If you bought Ethereum 4 years ago, you would have made $0. It's at the exact same price that it was at 4 years ago.
It's a joke. So Ethereum dominance is probably heading to 6%. It's been trending downwards, but again, Solana is taking over. What's that?
You want to share your screen?
Yeah, I'm going to. You're not. Don't worry, I got it. So real quick, I'm going to show you guys something, because remember we talked about this. So first things first, this is Bitcoin, right? And when Trump won, which we predicted here on the channel was going to happen, we had that gigantic upwards movement, okay? And then we peaked out around here. Like I said, this is December 18th-ish, 17th-ish, right? And then we had we started to channel down. We had this was the Trump pump right here leading up to the meme coin, okay? So as you can see, this is Solana as well on the daily chart, and running up into the election. We have it here. Right? And then we peaked upward. We were going hard. So what a lot of people don't realize, though, is Solana was fighting against internal manipulation by Binance. And this is why on-chain analysis is so important. If you do not have somebody in your crypto research team at all doing on-chain analysis, you are going to be left behind. You are going to miss out on things. And we've been tracking the data, and MartyParty here is talking about this as well. This is posted, and this is the centralized exchange. He says here is Binance SOL holdings since October 2024, when the strategy was triggered. And this is all data from Arkham. If you guys know what Arkham is, one can clearly see the strategy used by exchanges to accumulate assets by selling their reserves, flushing their books, and then buying back all assets at the new low, which is James was talking about just a couple minutes ago. This goes for most assets on the books, but here's how they sold Solana. So this is when they began their Solana selling strategy. And that's why if you looked at meme coins and you looked at everything connected to Solana, everything was a slow bleed out, a very slow bleed out until recently. And then now they're starting to acquire, and lo and behold, also they're starting to acquire right when President Trump mentioned what he mentioned in regards to the crypto reserve that they're going to be including Solana in. Now, as you guys remember, we talked about it here. This is Bitcoin. Bitcoin typically goes up first, and then it crashes down, and then it finds equilibrium until we get to the next halving and goes up onwards, right? Alts do the same thing. And then meme coins, they typically do this. Most meme coins do this. Okay, that's your meme coin trajectory. Okay, even sometimes it's like very violent, up and down, right? But that being said, this was all caused by a lot of people thinking they could cheat the game, get some money in and out with their meme coins. Meme coins are still the highest performing asset of this run, and you got to know how to choose the right ones. There is a science behind it. We personally on the panel know people who have made millions of dollars with meme coins, starting with mere investments. However, the good thing now is because of the excess chasing of meme coins by retail and everybody get burned out, looking at here, we're having pump fund actually go very, very, very low, back to its lows, which is much needed. But again, like we mentioned, Bitcoin started making its moves here around October, November. Bitcoin, remember right here, Bitcoin was going up, and then the money trickles its way down into the meme coins. So it's no surprise that late November, early December, we had some peaks, and then Trump coin came out here. People made a lot of money in Trump coin, and then they started gambling it when in February, and then we kind of, towards the end of January here. This is right when Trump coin came out, and then now it's been bleeding out. And it's no coincidence that this is also connected to Solana and the market manipulation of Binance. Binance is the enemy of crypto, guys. They are not on your side. They're not a good company. You know, they're not out here to do anything but make profits, and they are manipulating the market. You could track all of this data, market manipulation, and so much more by tracking Wintermute as well as Binance and everything they're doing using Arkham. Arkham is free software. You can use that as well. So I said all that to say this. It also has, here's the narrative mindshare on Kaito. Now, memes used to be a consistent second place, and at one point they were almost first place. They are now trending downwards, which is good because, like I said, there are good select memes, but it's a very intricate science to selecting those, getting in and getting out, and you need years of experience to do that. That being said, DeFi is now taking over, and we are having a more of a healthy narrative. AI has been at the top of the narrative and has been consistent from literally the whole bull market. If you go back 12 months, you can see AI has been there. I mean, 6 months. I think 6 months is when memes was like 6 to 3 months. I think now the data is kind of weighing it downwards, but memes used to be consistently number 2 as I've used this. And then the token mindshare too, just a real update as we close the books here on the show. Looking good. AVAX recently broke into the top, I think, because they have a blurb or whatever that meme coin is on their thing, and they had a credit card as well. But Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana are consistently top 3. We're usually changing up here. XRP has lost its dominance, as well as ADA. They were usually 4 and 5 right here. And then been consistent people up here like Doge, Sonic, and Barachain. These are trendy ones. These will not be in the top soon. I've been tracking this the whole time, so this is consistently changing out. But the ones that have been consistent, obviously Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. Ethereum is losing dominance as well, and Ethereum is, like I said, the only thing holding on to Ethereum right now is the fact that it's just been around forever. But like Solana is just going to be eventually dominating it out, and then XRP is a manipulated asset, in my opinion. So this, we'll see what happens with XRP. But I mean, as far as the use case of it as cryptocurrency, is a complete laughable joke. So that being said, that's going to do it for us here, guys. So keep an eye on the channel, because the Crypto Minute, we will be doing a live broadcast of the Crypto Summit this March 7th. Lou is with us in Asia, so he said it's tomorrow, but it's actually Friday for you guys. So the day after tomorrow, we'll be broadcasting live. It's Thursday morning for us here in Asia. So be sure to pay attention to this channel. We'll be going live, and we will be making the community live at some point this week.
Do you know what time?
Well.
Do you know the exact time it's gonna happen?
I'll figure it out.
Okay.
We'll announce it probably sometime midday. It's not gonna be like 7 o'clock at night.
I think it's in the afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah, probably sometime midday. So that's gonna do it for us, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave your comments. Remember, we need your comments to review data and optimize our message for you guys at home. That being said, we'll see you next time. Peace.